limited, it's impossible for us to actually perceive anything beyond these senses. So it's like, and he is beyond us. He has created us.
Yeah.
He's created everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, do you know everything about your boss's business? No, we don't know. We just do the work we are assigned. So I think similarly, it's very difficult because of our limitation, our senses, because that's where we actually get our gyan, material gyan basically. We are looking, hearing, and so that limitation is there, so you can't. That's why it's transcendental. It's beyond the material. So it's very difficult unless, as you said, unless he himself gives you something which is Vedas.
Yeah. Like using the same example you gave of your boss, the only way you can understand him if he tells you about himself.
Exactly.
Yeah. This is where I live, Narendra. This is my wife, Narendra. These are my children. So many. This is what I do in my spare time. I play golf. He can reveal himself to you. But otherwise, it's by our own senses. It's very difficult to understand. So one of the Lord's names is Adhoksaja. Adhoksaja.
Saja, okay.
Adhoksaja means he's beyond the senses. He's beyond the sense perception. Adhoksaja. So indicating that he's transcendental. He's beyond transcendental to our mind and senses. However, even though he is inconceivable to our mind and senses, but he can be revealed through this process of Shabda Brahma.
Shabda Brahma.
Shabda, the spiritual sound. So from him, the sound coming from his mouth, that sound, he can reveal himself. And then the Lord, who is beyond the perception of the mind and senses, becomes revealed. And then, by his mercy, our mind and senses can become purified. So there's one verse in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, one scripture saying that Atashi Krishna Namari Naba Vegrayam Indriyai Sevan Mukhi Jivado Swayam Eva Spiratyada. So what that means is that Krishna's name, qualities, and pastimes are beyond our sense perception. However, if we render service to the Lord, Sevanmukhi, Jivado, beginning with the jiva, the tongue, so that if we serve the Lord, beginning with which sense do we serve the Lord with first? It's actually said the tongue. So then what does the tongue do? Two things. The tongue chants, makes sound. Yep. So if we chant Hare Krishna mantra, for example, Hare Krishna mantra, we can become purified by that service to the Lord with the tongue. And also the tongue tastes food. So if we offer the food to the Lord and eat the prasadam, so we serve the Lord by eating the prasadam. That's also one service, to eat the Mahaprasadam, the Krishna prasadam. That's serving the Lord with our tongue. And then our senses become purified, starting with the tongue. So that's the first sense to engage in the Lord's service, to the tongue, to chant Hare Krishna mantra, and also to taste Mahaprasadam. And if we do that, then our senses will become purified, and gradually we'll become able to perceive the Lord and understand the Lord. So maybe what you done? Yeah. So it's saying that the Lord can become revealed to the devotee through following that process.
Only by his mercy, okay.
Yeah. By seva. We have to render seva with our senses, beginning with the tongue, and then the Lord can become revealed to us through that process. So that is a scientific process. As you know, science is a process. So you have to follow the experiment. Step 1, step 2, step 3. So this is the first step, is to engage the tongue in the Lord's service. So we render seva with the tongue, by chanting and taking prasadam, and we see that how people that were fully materialistic. I mean, you were mentioning the word asuras. You know, I mean, Prabhupada's making the point, even the great sages and demigods have a hard time understanding God. What about the asuras? It's going to be impossible. Even the demigods have a hard time. What about the demons? You know, so, but we see that even so many people in Kali Yuga, they're in this demon category. They're asuras. They have no faith in God, no faith in scriptures. They don't follow the Vedas. They disobey all the rules of God, you know, like meat eating, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, so forth, you know, engage in so much sinful activity. But as soon as those, and I was in that category, I must admit, you know, I was definitely an asura. I mean, my parents are still asuras. They don't believe in God. They don't follow any Dharma, any religion, anything like that. They're atheistic. They don't believe in the soul. They think when the body dies, that's it, finished, like that. So they're definitely asuras. And but however, even though I was brought up in asura, and I'm very far away from understanding the Lord, that when I got some mercy from the devotees, and they gave me some prasadam, and got me to chant Hare Krishna, then very quickly I could understand the Lord. Very quickly. So even though very impure, even though in the beginning we're very impure, but if we follow this process, the scientific process of serving the Lord beginning with the tongue through chanting, taking prasadam, very quickly you become purified, and and the Lord becomes revealed to you by this process. The Lord becomes revealed because He's pleased when we render service. Just like if someone does some nice service for you, you know, cooks something nice for you that you like to eat, or gives you some nice gift with love or something like that, you become pleased with them, and then you might reciprocate with them, and like that. So, you know, we like, just like we become very touched if someone serves us. So the Lord also, He's a person. If someone renders some nice service to Him, then He becomes very pleased, and then He reveals Himself to you. He allows you to understand Him.
So good. Yeah. I mean, I think the good part is the process is there, and you can realize, as you said, doing just japa changes things. You know, you have to just do it, and then you realize it. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's more of a, yeah. But I think that the point is where you see somebody doing something and you don't even question it, that why there must be something in there, and then that's where, you know, I was actually basically similar. Gulshan was telling me things about all there, you know, in the Newcastle Hare Krishna thing, and I was like, I started questioning, and then started doing slowly, and you can feel the difference. There's a bit of change here, just a bit of change. You can feel the change. So that's kind of a realization that, you know, there is something more than just, as you said. I was similar. I mean, for last maybe 40 years, I was same story. Most of us don't even think about anything beyond, even though we see so many things God has created. Even if you look at a tree or animal, where did they come from? How did they happen? There is something beyond there. Yeah. So it's like we just ignored. We were just focused on material stuff, not even think about anything. So that same story. I mean, I think that's, and Krishna consciousness is basically, that's what is they're doing. Just changing. You know, there's more to what we see and what we feel by our senses. There's more power, control beyond us.
Yes.
Which we don't take. That there is something more than, and basically we are not in control of everything. And half of the problems are when we think we are in control. You know, you want to change something, you want to get something, you don't get it, you get upset. But the thing is that there's so many factors beyond your control. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, you see that a whole new world opening. You see yourself, and then question comes, why you are here and what are you supposed to do here? I mean, these kind of things then pop up. You try to look for answers.
Yeah.
But this gives, I mean, Bhagavad Gita and reading that gives you some kind of, opening. Yeah, there is more than to just material stuff you see all around. So pretty. I mean, somebody gets into that. That's very good. Very good.
Yeah. And we experience it, like you're saying, if you access the process, your consciousness just opens up, and you can see things that you never saw before.
Yeah.
Even you're going to see, like you said, the trees in a different way.
Yes, somebody is asking iPad, the young one.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's.
You see things in a different way.
You can say a lot of things to somebody, but he has to do and feel from inside, realize himself. Yeah, that's very important actually. Yeah. But I think the process is there. I think it's very easy, and as you said,
the main thing in the process is you want to act in such a way that Krishna is pleased with you. If you do that, then that's when things open up. Until that happens, you're never going to understand anything. You're never going to see anything. You're never going to understand anything about higher things. But as soon as you start to do activities that pleases him, then when he's pleased, then the sky's the limit. Then anything you can understand. And he explains that in the 10th chapter Bhagavad Gita, texts 10 and 11, that to those very important verses from text number 8 and then 9, 10, 11 in the 10th chapter, these are regarded as the seed verses of Bhagavad Gita, these 4 verses. So in that 10th one, it says that to one that serves him, he says, one that serves me constantly with love, I give him the understanding by which he can come to me. So it's called Buddhi Yoga. So he gives us the Buddhi, the understanding, the intelligence, how we can come closer to him. And the next verse says, showing them special mercy, I dwelling in their heart, destroy with the torchlight of knowledge the darkness born of ignorance. Krishna Paramatma, he's in our heart. So if he's pleased by our service, he dispels the darkness, the tamas, the maya in our heart. And then everything becomes revealed about how we can make further progress in life towards him. So that's special mercy, and that's only available to those that render service to him. That's what unlocks. Of course, the Lord wants to give mercy to everyone, but we have to start off by showing our interest in him by rendering some service.
That's so true. I mean, everyone, as you said, Paramatma is everybody's heart, but we never listen. Half of 40 years I didn't listen. So it's like, you don't realize. I mean, that's quite something. I mean,
Okay, so let's
continue.
Next paragraph.
Although the individual parts and parcels of Lord's potency have all the symptoms of the Lord himself, and they have a limited sphere of activity and are therefore all limited. The parts and parcels are never equal to the whole, therefore they cannot appreciate Lord's full potency. Under the influence of material nature, foolish and ignorant living beings who are but parts and parcels of the Lord try to conjecture about Lord's transcendental position. Sri Isopanisad warns of the futility of trying to establish the identity of Lord through mental speculation. One should try to learn of the transcendence from the Lord himself, the supreme source of Vedas. And for the Lord alone has full knowledge of transcendence. Every part and parcel of complete whole is endowed with some particular energy to act according to Lord's will. When the part and the parcel living entity forgets this particular activity, his particular activities under Lord's will, he is considered to be in Maya or illusion. Thus, from the very beginning, Sri Isopanisad warns us to be very careful to play the part designated for us by the Lord. And this does not mean that individual souls have no initiative of his own, because he is part and parcel of the Lord. He must partake of the initiative of the Lord as well. When a person properly utilizes his initiative and active nature with intelligence and understanding that everything is Lord's potency, he can revive his original consciousness, which was lost due to association with Maya, the external energy.
Yeah, so let's just talk a little bit about this. So Prabhupada's explaining, it's very clear that, because we are so tiny by nature, we're part and parcel, so we're very small, we're only a part. So we're called Anu. In Sanskrit, we're called Anu. Anu means very minute, like an atom. It means atomic in size.
Yeah.
And the Lord is Vibhu. He's so great. He's so unlimited, Vibhu. So how can the Anu understand the Vibhu? So definitely not by our own mental speculation. So that's very clear. By our own limited, tiny mind, it's impossible. I mean, forget about understanding the Lord. Can we even fully comprehend this body that we're in? Do you understand how your brain works? Do you understand how your eye works? How all the blood gets pumped around your body? We don't even know how the body works. And let alone even this planet. Do you understand everything about this one planet, how it floats in space and everything like that? The seasons are changing. And what about the universe? And then what about unlimited universes? What about beyond? No, so obviously it's beyond our comprehension. So, however, so knowing that, then we should just surrender to this process of hearing from the Lord himself. So the Lord himself reveals himself. So that is the process to understand the Lord, not through speculation. And then Prabhupada's saying that the living entity who's part and parcel Lord can forget his original position due to Maya, due to being covered by Maya. And that it's that we have a designated position of service because we're part and parcel of the Lord. Our natural position is to serve the Lord, and that's just logical. What is the relationship? Just think, what's the relationship between any part and the whole? Like, what's the relationship between this hand, which is part of the whole body? What is the position or the purpose of the hand, for example, in relationship with the whole body? What would you say?
It's specific to basically hold something, or limited, whatever it's made for. Basically, it's a holding or doing something.
So the hand, it's good for holding things, picking up things, so forth, or you can scratch your head or whatever like that. So, but basically, whatever that specific function is, it's meant to be for the satisfaction, for the pleasure of the whole, right? So this part of the body is meant to serve the whole body. And the leg is another part of the body, and it has a different function. It's good for walking and kicking and things like that, and moving around. So, but it's meant to use that function for the pleasure of the whole body too. And your mouth is part of the body, and it has a different function. Like I said, it's for talking and for tasting food, but that's also for the pleasure of the whole body. So every particular part, whatever it may be, is meant to be used in cooperation. See, in cooperation with the whole. So we're also part of God. So we have a particular things that we're good at, but those particular functions are meant to be used for the pleasure of the whole. Now, if you took the part and you separated it off from the body, does it have any value?
No value, yeah.
No value. No value. If the hand thinks, why do I keep putting food in the mouth? I keep giving it to the stomach all the time. Why don't I just enjoy it myself? If the hand thinks like that, I'll just grab the samosa and just eat it. But it's not going to work, is it? Can the part enjoy separately from the whole? That's the question.
No.
Can you just stick your hand in the rice and dal and just eat it without putting it in the stomach, in the mouth? You can't. So the same way, if we try to enjoy separately from God, we can't do it. It's impossible. With the part cannot enjoy separate from the whole. How the part enjoys, like this, you have to surrender the food, the part has to surrender the food to the whole body, and then it goes from the whole body back to the part, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
If you put the samosa in the mouth, then it goes into the whole body, the stomach, and then from the stomach it goes back to the hand, and then the hand enjoys it in that way. But the hand cannot directly enjoy separate from the whole. So in the same way, as part of Krishna, we have to give everything for Krishna's enjoyment. After Krishna enjoys it, then we enjoy it. Then we enjoy it. So we're the secondary enjoyers.
That's very good example. Yeah. Yes. Makes sense.
Yeah. So it's not that like Prabhupada mentions, it's not that we don't have any free choice, or we're forced to, but it's just natural. We see it in that way. Just like, the hand doesn't have to cooperate with the whole body, but it's foolish if we don't, because that's what our purpose is. We were made for that. What the hand is made for, putting food in the body. That's what it's made to do. It doesn't have to do that, but it's completely foolish if it doesn't do that. So in the same, like I said, we have free choice. But if we misuse the free choice, if we don't want to cooperate with the whole, which we can do, we cannot cooperate with the whole, rebel. But if we do that, we're on the path of self-destruction. It's like, we're cutting ourselves off from that's foolish. It's completely foolish. So that choice we have. But as soon as we do that, as Prabhupada mentions, we come under the influence of Maya. So as soon as, say, the hand wants to go away from the body, so like that, if the soul goes away from Krishna, turns away from Krishna, immediately get covered by Maya. So Prabhupada's making that point. We should be very careful. If you don't want to be covered by Maya, you have to stick to your prescribed duties. You have to stick to your function as a servant of Krishna. If you don't want to come under the influence of Krishna's Maya, then you have to stay under your prescribed, function, your purpose. And that's called Dharma. Dharma. That's the Vedic, the Sanskrit word for what is your natural occupation? What is your natural function? And that's called Dharma. Some people translate it as religion, but actually Dharma is a lot more than just religion. Dharma means more than just saying I'm a Christian, I'm a Hindu, I'm a Muslim. Dharma means what is your natural characteristic that you cannot separate from yourself. Like, for example, Prabhupada gives the example, with that definition, what's the intrinsic characteristic of an object that you can't separate? So then what would the Dharma of chili be? What would the Dharma of a chili be? Hot, yeah. You can't separate being hot from a chili. If a chili was sweet, is that possible?
No.
Then it's not a chili. Chili must be hot. You can't separate hot from chili. What's the Dharma of sugar? Is it hot?
No,
it's sweet. Yeah. And what's the Dharma of fire?
Oh, hot. Sorry, temperature-wise hot.
Yeah, hot.
Hot and light.
And light, yeah, that's the Dharma. You can't separate heat and light from fire. You can't. They're inseparable things. Fire, heat and light, chili, it's hot, sugar, sweet, like that. So what about the Atma? What about the soul? What's the Dharma of the soul?
So I think it's to serve the whole, basically.
Yeah, a service, seva, bhakti. And you might say, well, no, I've separated myself from serving Krishna. I'm not doing that. But you haven't really, because you're still serving. But instead of serving Krishna directly, you're serving Krishna's Maya. You're serving Krishna's energy. And the film of, you're serving your body, aren't you? You have to run around and work so hard to put food in your mouth, to pay the bills and for your body, to get clothes and a house for your body and everything, to your serving your wife, serving your kids, so serving the parents, everything. We have to serve the dog and the pets and everything. You have to serve your boss. We have to serve the government. We have to pay taxes. So if you look at your life, what are you always doing? You're always serving. From 1 minute to the next, 1 second to the next, we're always serving something. So we can't escape service, because that's our Dharma, to serve. It's just a question of, well, who are you going to serve? Are you going to serve Krishna, or are you going to serve Krishna's Maya? But you have to serve. And we don't look at it like that. I mean, do we think that when we're eating, we're serving the body? No, we don't think like that, but that's what we're doing. Do you think that when you're sleeping, that you're serving the body? Now, when the body gets really tired, what do you have to do? You have to find a place to lie down. You have to sleep. Is it because you like to sleep? No, you're forced to sleep. Is it because you like to eat? No, you're forced to eat, isn't it? Forced to drink. You have to. You become, we're a servant of this body. The body wants water. You're forced to give it water. The body wants food. The body wants sleep. The body wants sex. So we're forced to serve. So if you look at it, it's a paradigm shift. But then you say, wow, that's so true. I've been serving my whole life. I've served my parents, served the school teachers, served my boss, served the government, served the bodies, served my family's bodies. We're always serving. And then the next question is, well, by all the service we've been doing, are we completely happy? By serving the body, are we completely happy? No. It just leads to frustration and disappointment. And the people that we're serving are never satisfied. The boss is never satisfied, or maybe the family members, even though we keep serving the family, they're never satisfied, and so forth. And although we keep putting food in the mouth and doing things for the body, but the body always wants more food, and it's never satisfied, and more sex, and more money. Doesn't matter how much money we make. They always want more money. The greed is never finished. More and more, have to get more. So there's no satisfaction. It's like a burning fire in the heart. So many anxieties, so many fears, so much stress, so much pressure. That's all the service. So then the realization comes, well, I have to serve, but by serving Maya, I'm never happy, never satisfied. Better I serve Krishna. And Krishna's always happy. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Patram puspam phalam toyam yo me bhaktiya prayachati. If you offer to me with love, even a leaf, even a fruit, even a flower, I will accept it. He's going to be satisfied. Even the smallest thing you offer him, he's satisfied. And then if he's satisfied, then we're going to be so satisfied. We're going to be happy. We see that devotees that serve the Lord, like, for example, Hanuman. So Hanuman is happy or unhappy in serving Ram?
He was happy, yeah.
So happy, yeah. Arjuna, was he happy or unhappy?
He was happy. I think, yeah, once he got the knowledge probably from God, I think he was more at peace, I guess.
Yeah. He was very happy. Actually, Arjuna is a perfect and pure devotee of the Lord, but Krishna put him under Maya just to create that Bhagavad Gita situation. Otherwise, if Arjuna kept his normal position as an enlightened devotee, then the Bhagavad Gita would never have taken place. So we shouldn't think that Arjuna was, for some time, he was like in Maya and ignorant and everything like that. That's a special situation because he's a pure devotee. But Krishna put him under a special yoga Maya just to get him to act like an ordinary person like us, so that the teaching of Bhagavad Gita could take place. But Arjuna is always a perfectly happy devotee, but that was a special arrangement for our benefit.
Yeah, for our benefit, he has done all that thing. He staged everything, whatever was there. Yeah. Teach us, what are you doing?
Yes. Yeah.
To understand things. So yeah, I mean, yeah, yes. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. That's good. So we don't really have a choice of rendering service or not. That's our Dharma to render service. But the choice that we have, are we going to render service to Krishna's Maya, or are we going to and be unhappy, or render service to Krishna directly, bhakti, and be happy eternally? So that choice we have. But if we think, well, we don't have to serve anybody, we're completely in illusion. Because that's all we do. We're serving around the clock. We can't escape being a servant. People don't like that word servant, but that's what we are. We're made to serve. We're part. The purpose of the part is to serve the whole. That's its function. That's its dharma, its purpose. We can't escape that. And we've got to learn to become comfortable with that, to become happy that I'm a servant. I'm not God. And we've got to become comfortable with that understanding that I'm not the supreme controller. I'm not God. I'm not the master. I'm not the master. I'm the servant. And of course, being a servant in the material world is not a good position, like I said, because maybe the boss exploits us or abuses us. Maybe the government exploits us or abuses us. Maybe our family members exploit us or abuse us or whatever like that. But we should not compare that with serving Krishna. We should never think that, oh, if I serve God, he's going to exploit me, he's going to abuse me, or I'm not going to get what I need. That's never going to happen. And there's no example anywhere in the history of this earth where God has ever abused or exploited or neglected his servant. Never. You'll not find it anywhere. God always protects his devotees, and he maintains them and makes them completely happy and fulfills all their desires, and that's the situation. Whereas we see Maya is not a good master. If we become a servant of Maya, of illusion, she's a very bad master.
All the problems.
All the problems. Okay, so we finish off the purport.
Yeah. I'll just finish there. Yeah. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord, not otherwise. All power is obtained from the Lord. Therefore, each particular power must be utilized to execute the will of the Lord and not otherwise. The Lord can be known by one who has adopted such a submissive attitude. Perfect knowledge means knowing the Lord in all his features, knowing his potencies, and knowing how these potencies work by his will. These matters are described by the Lord in Bhagavad Gita, the essence of all Upanishads.
So much energies are there, Shaktis, and we have some energies of strength, But where does that come from? We should think like that. Where does my ability to lift some heavy weight, where does that come from? Where does that energy, what's the source of that energy? It comes from God, Krishna. It's not my strength. It's Krishna's strength, and that energy is coming from Krishna, and we should use it for him. We should use that strength for his service. And I have some intelligence, some buddhi, but where is that intelligence coming from?
From Krishna, yeah.
From Krishna. I have some memory. That's an energy to be able to remember something. Where does that memory come from? It comes from Krishna. I have some knowledge. Where does that knowledge come from? That's an energy, that knowledge. It comes from Krishna. I have some seeing power, some energy of seeing. Where does that seeing power come from? It comes from Krishna. So it doesn't matter what energy you look at, it's all coming from the same place, from Krishna. You know the story of Nrsimha, the lion incarnation, and Prahlad the devotee, right? Mm-hmm. So the father was an asura, a demon, and he tried to kill his son because his son was a devotee of Vishnu and he hated Vishnu. See, talking about how demons, they are very envious, they hate God. Mm-hmm. So he hated Vishnu because actually Vishnu killed his brother. Hiranyaksha was killed by Varaha, the boar incarnation. Varaha killed his brother Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyakashipu hated Vishnu. So his son became a devotee of Vishnu. So he hated his son and he wanted to kill his son. So he tried in many ways to kill his son, but he couldn't. And he was very surprised because he's only a 5-year-old boy, and it's not hard to kill a 5-year-old boy. And he was a very powerful demon. So he said, "Where are you getting your power from that's stopping me from killing you?" And Prahlad said, "I'm getting my power from the same place you're getting your power from Vishnu." And that made him even more upset, that his son tells him that all your power comes from, Mr. Big Asura, is coming from Vishnu. So he became very upset. But that's the fact, that everyone's power comes from Vishnu, comes from the Lord. So it's coming from the Lord, so we should use it for the Lord. If someone lets you use their property, then who should you use the property for?
For them, I guess. I mean, yeah.
For the proprietor, right?
Proprietor.
Yeah. If you're using someone else's car, you should use it for their purpose, not for your purpose. If you're using someone else's money, you should use it for their purpose, not for your purpose. So it's their property. You have to use it for the proprietor. So the same thing, that all these things are, even this body, this is the energy of the Lord, this earth, water, fire, air, ether, it's all made of these material elements. All these elements come from God. It's all his energy. We should use it for his purpose. Otherwise, we become like a thief, isn't it? If you take someone else's property and use it for yourself, what do you call that?
Thief, obviously.
A thief. You're a thief. So we become like that. We become thieves, and thieves obviously are sinful and they suffer. So if we don't want to suffer, by being like a thief, then we should use all of God's energies for the pleasure of God. And this is natural.
Yeah, I think that's a great example when you said, Prahlad said, where you get energy from, your energy, it's from the same source, is same, and it's how you're using it. Prahlad is probably doing his dharma, as you said. The other one is basically, he was going against it. He was against the Lord, I guess. But the source is same. That's
source is the same. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. And if we use God's energy for God, the result is we're going to be happy. And if you use God's energy for your own enjoyment, then ultimately we're going to suffer, because we're going against our Dharma. It's like, the hand we've got cut off. We're cut off. So that's what we want to try to realize, that I want to become a cooperator. I want to become a cooperator. I want to that's our natural function, to cooperate with the Lord's enjoyment. We don't want to become a rival. We don't want to try to become his rival. Like Ravana, right? Ravana wanted to be a rival for Ram. And even taking. See, this is a great example. He took that Ram's wife, his property. He took Ram's property, his wife, away from Ram and tried to enjoy Sita for his own sense gratification. Now, what was the result?
He was killed, guys.
Twang. The last thing that Ravana heard was twang, and as his arrow went into his heart. So that's what happens if you go against God and try to take his property away from him and enjoy it for your own sense gratification. Ultimately, it leads to just suffering and destruction and complete illusion. So we should act like Hanumans rather than Ravanas. And we should, Hanuman was trying to bring Sita back to Ram, isn't it? Hanuman went to find Sita, and he actually found Sita and then helped Ram to get Sita back. So this is more our position, what we should try to be like Hanumans, and always trying to use God's energy for the pleasure of God. And Hanuman is a great example of a very obedient servant. Very obedient servant. So this is what we should try to become, obedient servants of the Lord, and always try to please him. Then we'll experience what a good life it is, and we'll be able to get tangible results. In the Vedas, it said phalena parichate. You judge a process by the results. Phalena means fruit. Parichate. Parichate means like you're judging something by the fruit. If you plant a seed and it gives you bad fruits, then that's useless. If you plant a good mango seed and you get nice mango fruit, then that was a very good seed, because it's giving. So you judge it by the results. So we're following this process of doing bhakti, of rendering seva to Krishna, and we're getting very good results. We become peaceful, become happy, our health is good, our relationships improve, everything becomes nice, we get more knowledge, everything. And so we should see, if we follow the materialistic path, then we get miserable and always depressed and anxiety and everything. That's very bad results. So why follow that one? Throw away that seed that's a bad process.
That process is wrong. We are going the other way.
Yeah.
We understand. We need to understand that. As you said, I think that's what's been said. If you live your life correctly, as you said, your constitutional position, that you are not in control, then everything will fall in automatically in place. If you acknowledge the authority, being. So I think we are going the wrong way. We are trying to correct something from there. We are not doing it right way. And Krishna consciousness is basically right way. Understanding, doing it right way. And everything. And the correctness of this thing is that everything falls. I think everything will fall in place automatically. Rest of the things which so that's.
Yeah. I mean, I was brought up in a scientific way. I mean, I would call myself a kind of scientist in that way, that I follow the scientific paradigm. You have a theory, you make an experiment, and, follow a process, experimental process, and you get a result. So I'm not into just believing in something. I'm not into just belief, blind faith and belief. I'm not into that. I was brought up a scientific way. And by living in that way, then this is the ultimate, because this is giving such great results. Since I came across the Vedas and Prabhupada and the explanations there, and try to follow the process explained there, it's giving such fantastic results. I mean, my life has just improved so much in every way. So that's reassuring me that this is a good process, because it's giving very good results. And I've experienced the other materialistic process and followed that one, and that gave me just bad results one after another. So and that gives me more conviction So now I have faith too, but that's Shraddha. But that faith is based on these good results. I have a lot of faith in this process now because I have personally experienced with my own senses. With my own senses, I am perceiving, realizing these fantastic results. So that's verified. The theory is verified. This is a fact. This is a fact.
Yep.
And that's what Prabhupada's indicating here. You want full knowledge. So by following this process, what we're going to get is full knowledge of the absolute truth. And then you're living in the truth. And then there's no more doubts. And you become fully always joyful.
You just said, I mean, yeah, that's also science, right? You experience it. I mean, it's no different. The only thing I think probably before is that you are looking at material science, right? Material science.
Yeah.
You are not looking at the other side of the spiritual side of the things.
Yes.
But now you are experiencing that other part, and it's also science, as I think Prabhupada has said in somewhere. It's a real science because
yes.
you are actually experiencing it. So
yes.
You're proving that's yes. a really proven knowledge. It's a science.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So it's yeah. So you can see the difference, and as you said, you can only realize. You can't tell somebody and then they will get it. You have to go through it.
Yeah.
Follow the process.
And the examples given. If you want to, if someone asks you what's honey like, then the best thing to do is you can't explain to someone just by licking on the jar. You have to get them to open up the jar and lick the honey and taste it. So it's the same thing. Someone has to practice the process, follow the process themselves to realize it. You can't realize, you can't get the fruits, the result, without following the process. Must follow the process. Just like if you want to taste the honey, you have to have to put it in your mouth. There's no other way. You can't lick on the bottle. You have to taste the honey. So same way, people have to follow the process, and then they'll know what it is.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, yeah, that's
yeah. So I'm sorry we've gone a little bit over time today. So.
Yeah, I think I should because it's too late there. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
That's all right. Pleasure. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji.